Welcome to episode 10. I am so excited about being here. This show is all about getting started in real estate by flipping the easiest type of property, land. And today, as I said, is episode 10, and it is very special. So this is our last show, my last show for this year, 2018. I have a special guest today. Advanced member Joe Martin is going to be joining me to help answer questions and tell a little bit about his story. And for many of you, I think it's the reason why you're here. I am going to announce the winner of the free Land Academy program. I'm Jill DeWitt, co-founder of Land Academy, and together with my partner, Stephen Jack Pitala, we have completed close to 16,000 real estate transactions of many property types. We all know there's money to be made in real estate, and most people are doing it wrong. So that's why I created this show. Every Wednesday at 2 o'clock Pacific time, I am here to help you connect the dots to get started flipping land, to move on to bigger transactions or other types of real estate. So, and as I mentioned earlier, today is going to be a little different because I really wanted to celebrate the show number 10. So first, for a minute here, I'm going to open it up and introduce Joe Martin. We're going to talk for a little bit. In about 15 minutes, I'm going to open it up to our normal Q&A, and you can ask myself or Joe anything you want to ask. And then after that, I will announce the free Land Academy program winner. So here we go.
Check.
Welcome, Joe Martin. You are my very first guest on my show. Thank you very much for joining me. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Great. I am so excited to share what you have going on in your world right now, because I know you have some great things to share with us. So if you would just start giving me a little bit of your background and how you found us.
Yeah, absolutely. I spent 15 years in corporate America in various sales and marketing roles. I'm gonna be honest, I had a great job, great pay and great benefits, but the fact of the matter is I was a road warrior and starting to burn out and completely sick of playing the big corporate game that it takes to get to the upper levels. And I realized early on that I needed to figure out a way to take control of my life, or else one day I'd probably get misplaced in a reorg and be out on my own against my will. So
right.
3 years ago, I believe I started listening to real estate podcasts, but didn't really find any of the deals that I was going for. So I believe I Googled how to buy property below market value, and that's where Land Academy came up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So how long ago did you join with us?
I started listening to, I think one of the first things that brought credibility was that I checked and saw that you had over 400 podcasts when I first found you. So I was like, all right, these people have to be legit. So I think that was around July of last year. Because I was on the road so much, I listened to every single podcast.
I was just going to ask that question. You did a crazy binge listening?
Yeah, I did. I went on a big binge session and listened to all the podcasts. I bought the program right before the holidays this time last year, probably like within 3 days of this time last year. Went through it in a week and got my first mailer out, I believe, the second week of January.
Wow. That is amazing. So coming into this, I mean, how do I say this? Some people come into this and they don't get the mailer out that fast. What is it about you, by the way, that was it just excitement or the quality of the education? Just kidding.
I think ultimately it's, I mean, there's so many different avenues to be educated through the program, right? You can listen to the podcast in your car. I had a great idea of what it looked like before I even bought the program, just through the podcast, how they price, what mail merges are, how to send mail, the different resources that are available to the group. Going through the program. And honestly, I spent a lot of time on the forums because likely if you're running into a barrier that somebody else has addressed it at some point on the forums and you can find an answer to that.
That's great. And I like to hear that. When we first launched Land Academy, we didn't have the online community. It was like within 30 or 60 days, like you're saying, people were talking, gosh, we need to communicate with you. And so Stephen, in a weekend, you've heard us talk about this before, put the whole thing together. It was Success Plant back then, and it's in Land Investors now, but I see so many people getting so much out of that too, and I'm so glad. And I love that we were all there once as a new member, and so many of the senior members, if you will, or the advanced members help the beginners, and gosh, now where we're going with that is crazy. So the things that we're all talking about. So I'm going to bring that up in a minute. So tell me, do you remember your first deal?
I do, absolutely.
Okay, will you share with us?
It was on my first mailer, and it was probably one of the best deals that I've done so far. I set an offer to a gentleman who was on the first mailer in January, and he came back and he said he wanted to sell, but he had 4 other properties that he wanted to sell too. He just wanted out. So I bought all 5 of them.
That's awesome. Okay, what did you put in and what did you get back? If you don't mind sharing.
People aren't even going to believe me. The first 5 properties I bought, was $17,000 all in. I think it was like $32.50 each, and I sold them for $128,000.
Isn't that amazing? And you're like, all right.
I honestly, I couldn't even find them. Like, I was trying to drive to go see them, and I couldn't find them. I finally found one on closing day, and the neighbor walked up, and he was like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "Oh, I just bought this property." And he's like, "Well, what are you going to do?" I'm like, "I don't know, maybe build a house, And I could just tell this guy was like, "I do not want a neighbor." And I was like, "Or I'll sell it." And he was like, "Well, how much do you want for it?" And I was like, 28 grand. And he was like, "I'll go get my checkbook."
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, this is the best business in the world. I'm not saying every deal is like that and that's how it always goes, but that was my first introduction. And I was hooked.
Awesome. It's like walking into, you don't want to walk into a casino and win right away, because it's not going to always go that perfect, but exactly. That's kind of what you did. You walked in a casino and it hit the jackpot. Oh yeah. Okay. So let's go if you don't mind sharing, what was your worst deal? Because it's nice to hear what you think is a failure, because it probably wasn't a failure kind of thing.
The worst deal is one that I'm about to sell. And honestly, it's not even that bad of a deal. I'm buying it for 5 and I'm selling it for 13. But I was under the assumption that it had city sewer and water, because that's what I was told, and somebody wanted to buy it and put a mobile home on it, and when it came down to it, it didn't have city sewer. So I dropped the price dramatically, and to allow them to put a septic system, they backed off. But the worst part is the time. I'm in it for 6 months, full transparency, but I'm still tripling my money.
Exactly.
I'll say till the end of time, I'll say the best deals that I've done are the ones that I passed on for some gut feeling, one or the other, just to make myself feel better about it.
Got it. That's good. What's been the fastest, bought and sold? Like, have you done it in the same day, or the ink is still wet? Yeah,
my first deal.
Really?
Walked out of closing, went to the property, and sold it to the neighbor like within 2 hours.
You just doubled your money. So then the other 4 were gravy, right?
Yeah, no, I bought it for 3 and sold it for 28 and change.
I say, but that covered the cost for all the other properties too.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and those all sold within, and I was very apprehensive to buy them for the fact that I couldn't find them, but I was on paper, look at this, they all have access. I could see them on Google Earth, they all have access, but the numbers, mispriced it horribly. I went in way too low. I don't even go in that low anymore, but it worked out that time.
That's great.
So, and people actually called. I'm like, honestly, I have no idea where this is. That sounds great. I want a property nobody can find.
Isn't that funny? People go,
I know.
They look at you like, how's that going to work? And I'm like, trust me, it does. I've had guys like that too. I said, you're going to need 4-wheel drive and a GPS. And they're like, yeehaw, that's exactly what they want.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Totally. So tell us what's going on with you now, and if you would share, why you reached out to me and I reached out to you, and why we're here.
No, had a really few good deals come over recently, and last week I quit my job to go all in on land. So not even a year, which is crazy. But I'm going to be honest, I put a lot of time into it. I mean, I'm pretty obsessed with it. Believe it or not. It's what I jump out of bed in the morning wanting to do.
Is it more exciting for you, the buy side or the sell side?
Honestly, money being secondary, when a deal comes back and I start to look it up and my pricing was right.
Yeah.
That's pretty satisfying.
That's awesome.
Especially when it was dead on.
That's awesome.
So I think that's pretty satisfying.
Cool. Are you moving into different properties now? Are you sticking with the same size and price? What are you doing?
I am moving into infills. Just had my first infill Miller land. Phone's been blowing up today, and met a couple guys at the live event, and we decided we're going to form some form of partnership and kind of divide and conquer and go bigger together. So really excited about that. That's
cool. That's one of the reasons too, as we were watching, I know the group you're talking about in the back of the room forming a little partnership there. I mean, I didn't even think about that when we planned the live events. It was just, based on everybody saying, hey, we want to do this. We'd love to pick your brain in person. And so we said, okay. And then what has come of that, like this group that you're working with and the other people, the people that they've met and doing deals together, I'm like, oh, that. Mm-hmm. I had no idea how valuable that would be and what would come of that. So we're working on that we're going to try to do one every quarter next year. So,
oh, that's great. Yeah.
Don't know if we'll make it all the way East Coast. We're going to start with Scottsdale, and then I'm going to try to get Steven to Texas. So we'll see how far east I can get him.
It's just nice to have an outlet, because a lot of times, like initially when I went in, I was kind of like lone man on an island, reading the forums and doing it all myself. And, now that I have this relationships that I've built through, whether the forums or the live events, I have people that I can talk to about it and not drive my wife crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. So speaking of which, is your wife, obviously she's on board. She's still mm-hmm. there. So yeah, does she have any interest in helping or getting involved, or she's just like, go baby, go? Tell me if you need me to make you a sandwich.
She has a great career too. She's successful in sales. But it's also, she's kind of tired of playing the game, so she's starting to get burnt out. She's on the road a lot and would love to get her involved or not, but
right.
We'll see.
That's cool.
There's something I can give her to do, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. That's cool. Good. I'm so glad. So I will go ahead and I'm going to open it up, and I see some questions here. So let me get to the questions and I will pop them. Hey, thank you, Autumn. I have a Merry Christmas. Love this show. Oh, here, this is for you. Little Plum Investment Group there. We all know who that is. Saying hello to us. All right, so this is one of our newer members. I don't know if now that you're on the advanced call, Joe, do you have time for the other call, or are you just pretty much doing the advanced call? By the way,
I'm pretty much doing the advanced call right now.
Okay, so this is good.
Just because the time works better for me. I'm on the East Coast, so the earlier call definitely works in my favor.
Okay, cool, good. So this is Jake, who's one of our newer members. So he's on the after call. So this is good for him to get to mm-hmm. connect with you. So he says, "Can Joe give some example of how you price your offer? Any specific method?" Oops.
I try to get as granular as I can, whether not going down to the county, but trying to get a little bit more specific. If we're talking rural vacant land, try to get it down at least to the zip code, and then try to look around to see if you can find any subdivisions or anything that may offset the pricing. Or I typically go in around 25 to 35% of what market value is.
Has 2.0 changed any of your pricing methodology from 1.0?
Absolutely. I think it's going to get me in a lot more deals because I was going in pretty low, and I'm going to be completely honest. I wasn't plugged in. I'm going to be completely honest. Like, I've had mailers that bombed. You know, I've sent out 3,000 offers that I didn't buy anything. You know, so I think pricing is kind of an ongoing thing that you just kind of tweak. And, you know, let's be honest, real estate markets are still hot, whether you've been watching the news in the last few weeks or not. Yeah. People are still proud of their stuff and they think it's worth a certain amount. So I've been kind of going in higher and higher and higher just to get into more deals because I know there's still enough margin there to make good money.
Excellent. Yep, that is wonderful. I'm going to bring back this question I put up there for a second. Jake was also asking, was the $28,000 from the neighbor retail price, or was that marked way down compared to retail? So are you selling it, was that a wholesale or retail kind of pricing?
No, retail is probably $60,000.
That's what you do. So that guy walked away knowing he got a good deal.
Oh, that's why it wasn't even a question, because he knew what he paid for his lot. So he probably paid 65 to 80, and to say that I only wanted 28 for it, he knew right there to jump on it.
Yeah, I'd get my checkbook out too.
Yeah.
you just doubled his property size or whatever it was. So
absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah. This is a great question. I'd love to have your take on this, Joe. A different Jake Worth asks, how do you manage your time with a full-time job and a family?
There's only one way to make time, and that's by getting up early.
Got it. So what was your, can you give me, what was your normal day when you were still, go back 30 days or 3 weeks, you were still all in? What were you doing?
Get up 5 a.m., do some sort of exercise for 30 minutes, work on land until 7, go to work, sneak out of meetings and respond to emails about land, sneak in some calls, come home and hit it hard. I mean, it's totally manageable. I mean, it's tough if you don't outsource something like the calls to Pat Live. Like I think that was the first thing that I got right after that first mailer. I was like, there's no way that I can handle all this call and these inbound calls. I gotta manage that immediately. So
it's great. Good. Let's see here. This is awesome. These are all questions for you, Joe. This is Joe. What revenue goals have you set for 2019? Any addition or changes in product type? Oh, and I have to tell you, I can tell you that's coming from Steven right there.
My revenue goals. My goal for 2019 is to make $1 million in profit.
Nice.
And the way that I see it is, if I make 600,000, did I really fail? No.
Thank you.
So
I love that.
I'm just in the corporate world where I get these BHAGs that come down. I'm like, this isn't even in the same planet that we're living on, you know, and somehow we figure out a way to reach them. So I figure go big and set really big goals for yourself. And, you know, it's kind of the Grant Cardone 10X, what you think you should really do and go for it.
Exactly. I love it. You know, when we were in that second event, we talked about, adding a zero, and it's a mindset for people. Some people are like, oh no, that's too much money. I'm like, you got to get out of that thought and just do it. And when you do it, you're like, oh, whoops, it does work. Okay, you're right. And then you start thinking, what if I add 2 zeros? Well, you kind of can. And that's what you're doing. I think the easiest way to get in,
the easiest way to get into bigger deals is don't even allow yourself to get into smaller deals.
That's it.
Work backwards. So it's if you know that something's gonna sell for $10,000 and you want to make $10,000 a deal, don't even send it.
Yep.
But if you're gonna sell for 20 and you're offering 10, then you're gonna make 10. So don't even get you. If you want to go bigger, I say split up what you're comfortable with, what you know, use that your bread and butter, and slowly add on maybe 500 to 1,000 offers on every single mailer of the bigger stuff. Because the fact of the matter is, even if you don't have the money, you put it on Hoopboard or the forum or Plum, it's going to get funded if it's a solid deal. It's no question.
Exactly. We've always told everyone that if never let a good deal go to waste. You know that.
Yeah.
and if it is that good of a deal, someone will come forward. So.
Yeah, I have friends that are commercial brokers. They're like, no good deal fails to close due to lack of money.
Exactly. Yep, that's perfect. Totally. Let's see here. There's somebody. Hi, Michael. Michael Alon's checking.
Hey, Michael. How you doing,
bud? Dallas Waldron asks, it sounds like you've made an effort to visit the properties in the beginning. Is it worth your time to visit any properties now? Good question.
Yes, I look at properties all the time, honestly, because I offer pretty high and I work pretty close to home. Honestly, I haven't even sent offers more than 4 hours away from where I live, just for that fact. I mean, kind of not necessarily a control freak, but like I said, I wanted to go bigger from the beginning just because I wasn't risk averse to it. So just for peace of mind, if it doesn't look like a solid home run, there's any questions, I'll either go look at it, or if it's an infill lot, I'll just put an ad on Craigslist gigs saying, hey, this gig pays $75. You must have a professional camera. Send me pictures of your previous work, and I'll pay them, and I'll give them the GPS coordinates and say, hey, give me 20 pictures of this.
Excellent. That's great. Let's see here. Jake is asking, Jake Robinson, what is your criteria for choosing your first market for an infill lot mailer? Jake is a member, by the way.
I live and die by days on market.
Cool. Love it. And that's
so anything, unless I know the area, right? So the city that I live in, everybody here thinks it's an amazing real estate market, but according to the 2.0 criteria, it's terrible. Like, it doesn't meet any of the three metrics. It's 80 days on market, 1.5 on list to sold, and 3 for inventory. So it doesn't meet any criteria, but it's my backyard and I know it. And I know that if I got into something good, that I can make a few phone calls and get it done. So
it's partially then because you know it, and you have a buyer's list obviously standing right there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There you go. For anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, in 2.0, there's a whole spreadsheet where we, Stephen shows us how to download data online that's free and use it to pick zip codes that are good candidates for sending offers for infill lots. And we look at days on market, we look at list to sold, we look at, what was the third one again? I'm trying to think.
Not percentage of properties inventory. That's so right. What percent of the properties are currently on the market?
There you go. And based on those numbers, we can get an idea. Mm-hmm. So Joe's zip code, which we will never share. Just kidding.
Mail it. We'll partner on something.
Exactly.
Hit me up.
Isn't that what's so funny too? Now you know too. It's like there's enough property to go around. If I can't keep up with my deals now, and I'm sure are you at that point, Joe? You can't keep up with the offers now. You're like, have to pick and choose the best ones.
Yeah, I already have somebody on board. I kind of have the Jack dream or the Steve dream of sitting in a hole and pricing data, and someone just walking up and saying, should we buy this? That's all I want to do. Like, I love the data aspect of it.
That's cool.
Going back to the question on how do I choose my markets, I think initially, and I still do it to this day, is I want to find large acreage within 2 hours of a major metro.
That's it.
So whatever that major metro may be. So you can say, I want to find something from within 2 hours of Denver, Colorado. You just go into Realtor and select 5+ acres, $40,000, and just scroll around the U.S. and find out where that's happening, and then dig a little bit deeper.
Yeah, bingo. That is awesome. Let's see here. I have people saying hello to you. There's Chuck saying, let me see if I can get that up.
Hey, everybody.
Chuck, hi. Nick Sliger's like Tiger saying hello. Hi, Nick. This is a good one. Autumn Allen was asking, what system do you use to keep track of your leads and contacts? Great question.
Spreadsheet.
Same as us. Yep.
I've looked into it and I'm like, I don't know. I'm just worried that like all these CRMs that are out there, besides like Microsoft BI and all that, I just know that one day they're going to get bought out by somebody bigger and it's going to be completely changed. And I'm going to have to learn a new system or new format. I just think a spreadsheet on a shared drive, like I would highly encourage you only to work out of a Microsoft OneDrive or Google Drive and not off your desktop, just in case something happens.
Exactly.
But yeah, a simple spreadsheet. I basically, honestly, when the calls come in, I look up the reference number on my mailer and I highlight that row.
Yeah.
And then it gets copied over into another spreadsheet that says possible acquisitions, and then dig a little bit deeper, and then a reasoning for not buying it or purchasing it.
And then eventually move it over to sales.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Cool.
Then it goes over to acquisitions where the deed and the HUD statement and all the pictures and the signed purchase agreement are all right there, so in case I ever have to reference them.
Cool.
I'm not as organized as you guys are. That's one of my big struggles. So I'm trying to get better because I would be forced to be getting better because it's starting to be the overwhelming point. So.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny because I have a new staff member right now that's taken on the land piece for us. And as I'm kind of teaching him the process, I said, right now, trust me, it's good. The actual inventory I have in that we own is low compared to what it is at other times. So I'm like, we got to get organized real quick now because that can change really fast. So Stephen I think he gets into these, I mean this in a loving, positive way, buying binges that it's like, he's like, it's just, he just finds stuff and you have to buy it. You know how that is. He knows what it's worth. We have to do it and we have to get faster. So
I actually got held up a few months ago because I knew a market and I saw something on auction.com. And I was like, yeah, buy it. And I hit it. I hit the reserve and I won it. And I was like, okay, I bought that.
Yeah. Surprise. That's so good. That's awesome. All right. Stephen wants to ask, looking back, what would you change when you started out? And then 2, what advice do you have for beginners? So what would you change?
The biggest thing that would change is I really wasn't ready to go when the mailer started landing. I had an LLC. I'm kind of paranoid like that, whether, yes, you can do deals in your own name and that's fine. But, my dad's a lawyer and he was like, don't play games, treat it like a business if it's going to be a business. So I set it up and had the LLC, but I didn't have a website. I didn't have any of that. So that's probably what I would have done is probably had a better website ready to go because what people are going to check you out before they call you back, right? Because it's very money. They think so you can have your stuff in place, whether they can find you on Facebook, find you on LinkedIn, find you on your website. It just builds credibility from the beginning. And they're like, all right, maybe this guy is for real. I'm seeing testimonials on his website. I'm seeing properties for sale on their website. I'm seeing their Facebook page with comments. And I think that's the biggest thing to watch out for. My biggest advice you have for mailers is for beginners is that, you can go see Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, or Robert Kiyosaki for a weekend, and you're going to come out inspired. There's no doubt. But you're not going to walk out there with a business. And for the same amount of money, you're going to walk away with a business with this program. And the fact of the matter is, if you send enough mail, good things are going to happen. And if you're humble enough to admit where you're weak and ask for help, you're going to get help. Whether it's in the forums, on the live calls, or anything. So don't be afraid to chime in. Do your research and see if your question's been asked in the forum, because I'm sure that it has. But you got to exercise humility and say, hey, I'm stuck here. What do I do? And someone's going to answer it, because we've all probably been there in some other form.
Exactly. Thank you, Joe. That was awesome to hear. Thank you very much. Let's see. I'm gonna get through a couple questions because I want to get to our winner here.
Oh yeah, big winner.
Let's see. A bit longer. Oh, Jake, I'll wrap up with this one. Jake was asking. He wants to know what your threshold is for your minimum, because we were talking about our days on market. You know, when Steven's doing mailers and you have a different, because you know the area. Is there a line where you're like, I won't even touch that? That's too many days on market.
I think over 45 days on market, if I don't know it. Being in corporate America, I've moved 4 times and have lived in 4 different major metros. So I'm willing to mail those, even if their days on market are a little bit higher, because I know the streets, I know the neighborhoods, I know people there that I can confide in and see if it comes out. But I would say 45 minimum days on market.
Got it.
But that's only for infill lots. Like, you can't really assess. If you look at days on market in rural areas, you will never mail anywhere if your threshold's 45 days.
That's true. That's true. That's good. Love it. Thank you. Well, I'm gonna go ahead now and get to the good part. So with Joe right here with me, I'm going to announce today's winner. And I have never done this, by the way. Just decided, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, we're just going to give one away. So what we did is I decided to give away a version of Land Academy 1.0 and 2.0 and the first month's membership for free. So what the people had to do to enter was tag 3 friends in the comments section of last week's show. They had to type, I want to join Land Academy. And I love one person put in, I will join Land Academy. And I thought that was really cool, by the way. They put that in there. And then they just had to send a note to us, to my team, letting us know that they were in there and we had their email. So now is the time for the winner. So, and I'm going to show that I'll just tell you right here, I have, I'm really, really pulling a name out of a container. So it is, I think this person is on this call too. It is Dallas Walden. So, all right, Dallas, I'm looking. If you're here on this call, you are the winner. So please do a little, let me know. I can't see the list of the viewers, but if you put a comment in there saying, it's me. Oh, Joe's there. Thank you, Joe. So, all right, Dallas Walden, you are the winner of our first ever Land Academy program. So watch your email in just a few minutes. Oh, there's Dallas. Dallas said, woo. So here, I would just make this here. We got Dallas. Yeah, this is awesome. All right, Dallas. Now, and I love your red nose there. Dallas's face is all set for the holidays. So you won. All right, so watch. My team's going to send you an email here in a few minutes. And for anyone who didn't win, I still have something special for you. So here's what I'm doing. Between now and the end of the year, I have an unbelievable promotion going on. I'm going to show it right here. So it's at the top of the screen. If you go to join, you can kind of see it here. And there it is. Here's what's happening. So if you can't see it, I'll give you the details here. What I'm doing between now, like I said, I want to end this year with a bang. So I decided to not give away, but we're doing Land Academy 1.0 and 2.0 included, all at one price, and it's cutting the whole thing in half. So if you join between now and the end of this year, you get 1.0 and 2.0. still at the same cost and then half price. And it's live on the website right now. So what you gotta do is go to enter the code half price. And as you can see, it ends on January 1st. So get in there. Trying to think what else I want to share.
That is giving it away.
It kind of is. Thank you. It is. Well, and part of it too, I want everybody to know is on January 1st, the reason I'm ending up with this, we're going to close up enrollment for a little bit because I'm going to, beginning of January, Stephen and I are kind of readjusting pricing, kind of figuring out how we want to move forward with 1.0 and 2.0. I'm going to be launching Land Academy Lite in January. Stephen is putting together House Academy, which is coming in the first quarter next year. We are going to be bringing in some more tools. That we have some great things in store for you, Joe, because you're in my advanced member group. And we're trying to, other than that special call, that was just kind of phase one that you're in, but we're icing out some other resources and tools to help you going forward. So we got a lot coming up.
Awesome.
So yay. I'm so happy. Well, thank you.
Are you guys still buying and selling land? If you feel like you're so busy doing everything else.
I know. That's why I'm actually partially why I'm hiring right now. So yeah, we are. You know, it's funny you say that because just today in the mail, we got one offer to buy a piece of land from a random person, right? Since the mail out that hit us. I got a stack this big of deeds that we're going through right now. Exactly. And I need to hire some more help for it all. So, yep. I don't know
Good
how we do
to
it all. Exactly. It is. You know, I was thinking about like what you said, you didn't feel quite ready, you know, in the beginning. Like you did everything right. You sent out the mail, the calls are coming back and you're like, holy cow, now I got to do something. And I'm like, you did it perfectly. That's exactly how it should happen. And that's why we're here. You have us to ask quick, what do I tell these guys? You know, you had all the answers there, but you just did it right. You just have to do it and you figure it out. And if you don't you don't know the answer, you ask one of us, like Joe, like you said. It's great. So thank you for being here, Joe. I am so happy.
No, thank you for your time. It's my pleasure.
Thank you for sharing your story with us. I promise I will not leak your zip code.
No, it's fine.
I'm just kidding. And it was so good too, Joe, to meet you a couple months ago. And I look forward to seeing you again at either that group reunion or another event. So thank you.
Awesome. I'm excited as well. Thank you.
Thanks. Well, thank you for joining me today. Please feel free to leave your comments or suggestions below the show in the comment area, and make sure you get our free ebook if you're just joining us and trying to figure out what the heck this is and how did this guy do that. So thank you. I am Jill DeWitt. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season and a fantastic new year. I will be back in 2 weeks. So the next show will be the first one in 2019. So please join me on January 2nd. I'm here to help you get started. That's the hardest part.